साक्षात् परब्रह्म तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः। त्वमेव माता च पिता त्वमेव बन्धुश्च सखा त्वमेव विद्या द्रविणं त्वमेव सर्वं मम देव नमः कमलना भाय नमः कमलमालिने नमः कमलपादाय नमस्ते कमलेक्षण यो ब्रह्माणं विदधाति पूर्वं यो वै वेदांश्च प्रहिणोति तस्मै तग्वं ह देवमात्मबुद्धिप्रकाशं मुमुक्षुर्वै शरणमहं प्रपद्ये। Inquisitive souls, before we begin the Q&A session, let's chant for a few minutes. And then you'll kindly ask your questions, and I will do my best to answer them. Bhajo giridhar Govind Gopala Bhajo जो गिरिधर गोविंद गोपाला जो गिरिधर गोविंद गोपाला भजो गिरिधर गोविंद गोपाला भजो गिरिधर गोविंद गोपाला भजो गिरिधर गोविंद गोपाला भजो गोविंद गोपाला भजो गिरिधर 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 गोविंद गोपाला Bhajo Giridhar Govinda Gopala. Bhajo Giridhar Giridhar Govinda Gopala. Bhajo Giridhar Govinda Gopala. Bhajo Giridhar Govinda Gopala. Bhajo Giridhar Govinda Gopala. बोलिए वृंदावन बिहारी लाल की जय, श्रीमद् सद्गुरु सरकार की जय. If you have a question, please raise your hand and a microphone will come to you. Who will be giving the microphone out?
Radhe Radhe Didi ji.
Radhe Radhe.
Quick question. Back in spring, I think in one of your online Saturday satsang, you introduced or presented a Rup Dhyan, kind of a silent Rup Dhyan, and you titled it Passport to Golok. And you suggested that that could be done like in the morning, first thing in the morning. And it's, Leela Rup Dhyan that you do silently in your head for amount of time. Is that kind of a complementary to the regular Kirtan Rup Dhyan, or does that have any different kind of benefit, or how would you suggest kind of building that into your your daily sadhana?
Rup Dhyan, or meditating on visualizing various pastimes of Radha and Krishna, that is best done while we do bhajan and kirtan. With the help of bhajans and kirtans, Rup Dhyan becomes easier. But in situations when you cannot do kirtans and bhajans, then Rup Dhyan must be a silent one. It must be done even without any devotional songs or kirtans. But it is best, it is easiest to do it when we are taking the help of bhajans and kirtans. Reason is that our mind is easily distracted. And when we are singing bhajans and kirtans, then our mind is involved. Our mind has a natural love for music, beautiful words, beauty of any kind. Our mind gravitates towards it. So when we are singing beautiful bhajans and kirtans, the mind is reminded of God, reminded of Sri Krishna more. So that's one of the reasons. And we get ideas from bhajans and kirtans. Oh, this is what I should be thinking about. Let's say the bhajan, the devotional song, is about Lord Krishna who's getting up in the morning. And Jagat Guru Shri Kripaluji Maharaj has written he has composed so many of those bhajans. And let's say it is Nainan Neend Bhare Uthe Hari. Nainan Neend Bhare Uthe Hari. So he is waking up and his eyes are looking very sleepy. And then there are words in that bhajan that helps us they tell us, they have strong suggestions as to what we could be thinking about. That his eyes are closed, and once they open, then they're going to injure many hearts. They're closed, so they're like a sword in its shield. As long as the sword is in the shield, it cannot injure anyone, it cannot harm anyone. But once you take it out of the shield, then the sword becomes a dangerous weapon. In the same way, Krishna's eyes are not going to be wounding anyone's heart because they're still sleepy. His eyes are still, you cannot see them. But once they're open, then they're going to injure a lot of hearts. So these beautiful words and beautiful meanings, they help us, they help the mind think about Thakurji. They help us think about Kanhaiya. So it's best to do Kirtan, Bhajan And that helps us to do Roop Dhyan. But in case we cannot do it, then we should do Roop Dhyan anyhow. Let's say you're going somewhere and you're traveling, you're on the plane, and you've got a lot of people sitting around you. You're not going to burst out into a song, and you're not going to start singing loudly, I'm going to do Sankirtan. Maybe you will, but chances are you won't. And then you do just silent Roop Dhyan. Just silently you do the Roop Dhyan. So it's, what kind of situation are you in?
Thank you.
Most welcome.
Radhe Radhe Didi ji. So Maharaj ji suggested at least 1 hour of sadhana for self, not in a public, like this setting where singing in the temple and doing sadhana here. So we are doing 6 weeks of retreat, right? We've been doing multiple hours of sadhana, which is very good. Like we're getting this here. Do you still think that, and we are not doing ekant sadhana, right? This is like group sadhana. Do you think we should still do ekant sadhana?
You're spending a whole day over here. And it's fine. Because ordinarily, you wouldn't do this much devotion. Nobody does this much devotion. You don't get up at 5 in the morning, 5 to 7 a.m. We have the first session. And then we have all day long, we're doing something or the other. So this is an exception to the rule, of course. For instance, when you go for the sadhana program in Mangad, in our main ashram, now you're there all day long and you're with people. So you're not doing personal sadhana at home in your room. There's no time because you're doing sadhana, you're practicing devotion all day long. पूरे दिन भर भक्ति हो रही है वहाँ पर. हम भवन में बैठे हैं, भक्ति भवन में और साधना कर रहे हैं. अब एकांत में बैठ के कहाँ करेंगे, कैसे करेंगे? तो वो तो हर रोज के लिए है. जब शिविर नहीं चल रहा होता, जब हम साधना शिविर में नहीं होते, तो हम एकांत में बैठ के करें. और कर्म संन्यास वाली साधना, so we should go out by ourselves and do sadhana, and that's karma sannyas. Leave all duties, responsibilities, chores, works, and just do sadhana. Just practice devotion to God. And then karma yoga sadhana while you are doing, washing the dishes, doing the laundry, running taxi for kids. A mother called it, I'm running Uber all day long, driving Uber. The kids are being driven here and there, and there's so many chores to be done, and then you're thinking about God simultaneously. Karma yoga sadhana. But now, as I said, in a shivir, in a retreat, you have all day sadhana. So it's fine.
Radhe Radhe Didi ji, can I ask a question about Bhakti Shatak Bandhua? This Bandhua, they say, Jo Swami so chahi kachu, so nahi das kaha hai, so Swami na kaha hai jo das nahi aas lagaye. तो पहली लाइन तो समझ में आ गई कि स्वामी से कुछ नहीं मांगना, लेकिन जो स्वामी ना कहा है जो दास ने आस लगाए.
हाँ, वो स्वामी स्वामी ही कहा जो अपने दास से कुछ चाहता हो. क्योंकि अगर आप कहें कि हाँ, गुरु तो कहता है सेवा करो, शिष्य से कहता है, और भगवान कहते हैं सेवा करो, हमें भगवान और गुरु की सेवा करनी है, तो क्या स्वामी हमसे कुछ चाहते हैं इसलिए मांग रहे हैं? तो नहीं, वो तो हमारे कल्याण के लिए ही कहते हैं सेवा करो, ताकि तुम्हारा, यदि आर्थिक सेवा करते हो तो तुम्हारे धन से तुम्हारी जो ममता है वो कम हो, ताकि तुम मेरा और अधिक चिंतन कर सको. तो वो स्वामी मांग नहीं रहे हैं अपने लिए, वो मांगते हैं हमारे लिए. So the doha that you are reciting, that servant who asks for something from this master is not a true servant. That a servant of God should be selfless. But then how does it make sense then when Sri Maharaj Ji says that even the Swami, the master, is not a true master if he has expectations of the servant? And that is that, indeed, if, let's say there is someone who says, I am a guru. Let's say, someone is regarding another as a guru, and the guru says, give me this, give me that. And what he's doing with that, he's not a guru, but what he's calling himself a guru, and he's wanting many things from the disciple to support himself. So that's not a true Swami, because he's asking for something to support his own lifestyle. But a true master is asking or telling the devotee or the disciple, you should do seva. And he wants it. He wants that the devotee, the disciple, should give charity, but not to fill his own pockets, but to help others. Right? You understand? That he's not asking for something, he's not demanding something for himself. He's saying, it's good for you to do seva. Serve financially, serve physically, serve any which way. Give your time, give your wealth, give whatever you can, whatever you have. But he's doing it, he's saying that not to gratify himself, but to elevate the disciple. तो वो अपने लिए तो कुछ नहीं मांगता ना, तो सो स्वामी न कहाए जो दास ही आस लगाए. वो स्वामी नहीं है जो दास से कुछ आशा रखता है. यहाँ पे कोई आशा नहीं है. वो तो बता रहे हैं कि देखो तुम्हारा कल्याण इस तरह से होगा, तो तुम इस तरह से सेवा करो, ये कर दो, ये दे दो, इस तरह से तुम्हारा कल्याण होगा. तो वो असली स्वामी वही है. समझ आई?
Thank you, Didi.
Welcome.
But sometimes on surface, we just get confused.
Yes, of course. That's fine.
Radhe Radhe Didi ji. We talk about Draupadi's grace that Draupadi received with the Ambara avatar.
Yes.
We talk about that to be not a Nishkam Bhakti, because when she finally raised her hands and said, Hey Nath Dwarika Vasin, not only did she think about God finally, not thinking about the husbands and all that, right? But she expected Krishna to come, versus if she had just remembered Krishna and not expected him to come, that becomes Nishkam Bhakti.
If she had thought, it doesn't matter what happens, he always knows the best
Right.
thing for me.
Yeah.
And did not even ask him to come and protect her honor. Yes.
Okay.
Because it is only in Sri Maharaji's words, it is only an impure material body. Why did she call? Why call the Supreme Lord to protect the honor of this dirty, impure material body? Basically, not asking for anything, not asking for any favor from God. Realizing that He has already given me everything, and whatever happens is His grace. Naturally, you make your own effort in the sense that she tried to protect her honor, not like she shouldn't have done anything. But then but if you're going to surrender yourself, then do it completely. That's the message there. Surrender completely. Not like you should have asked Krishna in the first place. That's not the lesson to be learned from Draupadi. The lesson is when you surrender yourself fully, then he comes. But at the same time, we must not emulate Draupadi's devotion, because although she is venerable to us, but that's not the kind of devotion we want to practice. Our role models are the Nishkam gopis, the selfless gopis, who would not ask for anything, who wouldn't even ask him to save their lives. You're most welcome. महाराज जी कहा करते थे कि हालत तो अभी फटीचर है तुम्हारी, लेकिन आइडिया जो बड़े बुलंद हैं, कि इस तरह की सुन रखा है ना कि भगवान से कुछ नहीं मांगना. अभी वहाँ पे हैं नहीं हम, लेकिन सुन रखा है तो ऐसे बोलते हैं निष्काम भक्ति करनी है. अभी हम कहीं हैं नहीं, लेकिन हमें एक ऐसे गुरु की शरण में हैं जो टॉप मोस्ट थे. तो उन्होंने इतना बढ़िया ज्ञान दे दिया कि अभी हमने पूरी तरह से एक्सेप्ट नहीं किया, लेकिन हम जानते हैं कि करना क्या है. भले ही हम ना कर रहे हों, लेकिन जानते हैं. We know what is to be done, even though we are nowhere in devotion yet. But we say, oh, selfish devotion? No, 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 no. We speak like this. That does not mean that we are disrespecting Draupadi or Gajraj, but it's just that we should know that we want to be selfless devotees, unselfish devotees, Nishkam Bhakt.
Radhe Radhe Didi.
Radhe Radhe.
Didi, I have a question. So during the lifetime of any individual, when we do, I mean, we hear like we are not body, we are soul. And we experience, like when we do meditation, we get peace, we get bliss, right? Many of devotees. So during the lifetime of any individual, do they get any experience of soul itself? Because it's very hard for any person to accept this on daily basis. We are soul. We are not body. We are soul. So, are there any circumstances that people experience? Oh, they are actually soul. When you see, I mean, in India, when person die, people go in like Samshan Ghat, and we do all the rituals. That time you get Samshan Vairagya. You see that, right? You realize that time, but still you are not feeling that. You don't realize, oh, you are soul. But just wanted to know, like during the lifetime, do we get that kind of experience?
The more we think about it, the more I think, the more time I give to that thought. I am the Atma, I am not the body. I am the Atma, I am not the body. The realization does come that I am not this body. Now, for instance, the Atma Jnani, who is he? Atma Jnani is the one who now totally believes and accepts the fact that he is the soul. He doesn't think himself to be the body at all. He's not. So that is proof enough that a person can actually come to the point where he believes, where he experiences that he's not the body, that he is the Atma. So it can happen. Sri Maharaji used to say, think about it, take some time during the day and think, I am the Atma, I am the Atma, I am the Atma. Now, on the path of bhakti, we don't want to be Atma Jnanis. We don't want to go through that path, the path of Gyan. But what it will do then is to make us feel less and less attached to the world and less attached to this body. The attachments will be lesser. So that's how it will serve us. So that realization, or not the full realization, even the partial, little bit of realization that I am the Atma, I am the Atma, it will help us in our devotion. So we don't need to think about whether I will actually realize that I am the Atma. It will show up in other ways. That realization, as it becomes stronger and stronger, we will experience it in the sense that our devotion will grow, our love for God will grow, and love for the material world, attachment to the material world will lessen. It will be lesser and lesser. It will be less and less, I should say.
Radhe Radhe Didi ji, one more question.
Sure.
So, I'm here for 1 week for the retreat, and it's wonderful. Like you said, we're doing devotion and devotion-related activities pretty much all day long. I love it, but what benefit should I look for from this experience, when I'm home again? How do I capitalize on the experience and, the habits that we have formed here? I guess I could start waking up at 4 every day, but...
You know the answer.
Yeah, I'm not gonna do that.
If not 4.
Yeah, but I'm just wondering, what should I, try to keep so that I don't, I am not leaving behind from this experience. And then, you know, so let's say, you know, if things slow down, like what is the sign? Like, okay, you know what, you're not doing this 1, 2, 3. Look for some retreat, you know, go for a couple days to kind of recharge.
The recharge is very, very important. Like, you know, you recharge your phone, you charge your laptop, you charge all these gadgets. So for our mind also, we need a recharge. And first of all, you had asked, what should I look for? What benefits will I get? You will feel them, you'll know. You are already experiencing. We're all experiencing those benefits. And so they don't have to be told, you know what you're going through. How to keep it up? It's to, whatever has helped you, whatever helps you in this retreat, such as getting up earlier in the morning, that should be incorporated into daily life. So if it's not 4 o'clock, then maybe it should be 5 o'clock, but that, you know, earlier. If someone feels that I'm getting up a little bit too late, or I don't have time in the morning, then all right, so let me get up earlier in the morning, right? And I want that same feeling as I had in that 1 week of sadhana. Then we should try to recreate that environment as much as possible at home too. That sadhana, daily sadhana, and whatever has helped you here should be replicated to the best of your ability over there. That this has helped me, that has helped me, so I think I should change the discipline, schedule. So maybe you're thinking, I need to schedule, I need to have a better grasp on my day. And because over here, you know, at certain time you have to be here at 5 a.m. You have to be here at 10 a.m. to watch Maharaji's lecture. You have to be here at 5:45 p.m. or the lights will go off in the dining hall. It happened for the first time, but it was promised to me that if anybody is in the dining hall at 5:40, they're still sitting there, the lights will be turned off, the doors will be locked. So that's what will happen tomorrow, from tomorrow onwards. However, so if you think that that has helped you over here, then you need to have more structure in your life. You need to have more, you need to schedule your time better. Then go ahead and schedule your activities. Schedule your time that you spend with God and Guru. So whatever has helped you over here, you should incorporate into your life back home to get to keep on reaping the benefit.
Thank you, Devi.
Most welcome. Right there, right behind you.
Radhe Radhe Deji.
Radhe Radhe.
Gopi's love was considered as the highest love for Krishna. While Krishna was there and gopis were mesmerized with his look, they were waiting for Krishna to come back when he goes with all the cows, and they're waiting for him to just get a glimpse of Krishna. So when Krishna actually left Radharani and gopis, how was it even feasible for them to live without him? Meanwhile, you know, they were just dying to get one look from Krishna, you know. How did they even survive?
They survived because of his grace. They survived because their love was selfless. So a gopi said to another, I cannot live without him. I am going to leave my body. The other gopi said, what right do you have to give up your body? This body does not belong to you. It belongs to the beloved. It belongs to Shyam Sundar. So you have no right to put an end to your body. And what if you give up your life today and tomorrow he comes? Or a year later he comes and he asks for you, where is she? Oh, she gave up her body. How would he feel? So because their love was so selfless, they patiently waited for him. And then remember, their philosophy is tat sukha sukhitvam. We are happy in your happiness. So if it pleases you, if you're happier being with Kubja in Mathura, then by all means you should do that. They always wanted his darshan. They wanted him to be near, but only, they would add, but only if you want it, only at your convenience. Because if you say that the gopis being selfless means never desiring him, then our mind will desire the world if it doesn't desire God. So the gopis certainly desire to see him, to be near him. However, they add that part, or only if it pleases you. And that's a selfless part of their devotion. Because otherwise the atheist would say, I never want to see God. Don't ever want to touch God. Don't want anything from him. So if the gopis say that too, that means there's no devotion. So they absolutely want to see him. They want to experience him with their 5 senses, but only at his convenience, only if it makes him happy. And they say, if you're not happy, then never come back to us. We shall never complain. So their love was the topmost. That is what true love is.
Thank you, Devi.
Radhe Radhe. Could you keep it closer to you? I don't think it's working.
Radhe Radhe.
Radhe Radhe.
So, people at home, people at work, people are constantly want you to do your responsibilities or your duties. That means they are, you have to give your body and tan se seva karni hai, man Bhagwan mein lagana hai. But that validation, when you do something at work, when you do something at home, when you do something even as a sadhak at some seva, you get that external validation because your body was engaged in it. The time and the energy and the hard work that it takes to do sadhana and to get that internal validation, that the pleasure, the joy that the soul gets, that takes a lot of time. It takes a lot of energy. And I feel always that there is a tug of war going on between how much time you can spend alone, how much time you can spend with yourself, and how much time you are spending with all these other responsibilities that exist. How do you balance it? What advice do you have for us?
The internal validation, if we look closely, we do get it. And it doesn't take too much, yes, it doesn't take that long a time because we keep on getting it. If we didn't get that internal validation, nobody would follow the path. And we get the validation in the sense of that the joy, the tears that come. They're not continuous tears by any means, but even just that little bit of that and a little few tears with the grace of God and Guru, that serves as a very powerful validation. The satisfaction we get from inside and the joy that is there. And God and Guru do give that. Otherwise, everybody would step away from this path and say, I'm not getting anything. There is no reward, nothing going on, and so I may as well try something else. Maybe I'm not understanding the last thing you said. How do you balance how much time you spend doing the sadhana?
Sadhana versus doing your responsibilities
in the world. Then you have the karma sannyas sadhana where you are. If you could just move this way a little bit, you're kind of hidden behind. Thank you. So the time you're spending alone doing your sadhana, as everybody knows now, karma sannyas sadhana. And the other time when you're doing your duties, taking care of your chores, responsibilities, then that would be karma yoga. We can make that into karma yoga sadhana, right? So that is karma yoga sadhana. Naturally, we have, as householders, as someone who is working full time, someone who has a family, you have only so much time, and someone who is actively involved in Yugal Kunj, in the running of a temple, you have a lot of responsibilities. Then why not think of that time as karma yoga sadhana? Why not develop that? You are very well aware of that. So I'm just little confused that there is karma sannyas sadhana, but all the other time can be converted into karma yoga sadhana, where that training the mind is concerned, that where we train the mind to think, I am doing this for him, I'm doing this to please him, he is pleased. The whole world may not be pleased. Maybe even one person may not be pleased, but they are pleased. And you get that sense of peace from within, that I'm doing this, and I'm doing this to serve. I'm cooking to serve him, I want to clean to serve God. I want to do this and this and this, everything in service. So when we develop that and that feeling increases, then we are just doing devotion in a different way. Rather than doing it by ourselves, we're doing it, that is done already. You're not letting go of that. But majority of the time will have to be karma yoga sadhana. In any householders, in anyone's life, it has to be more, except for a sannyasi's life who's living in the woods, in the jungles. It has to be that, living in the world, living with the family, having so many responsibilities, it's going to have to be more karma yoga sadhana than karma sannyas sadhana. And as much time as you can get for karma sannyas sadhana, it's wonderful. And what's great for us over here is that, coming back to that question also, that we're not doing sadhana by ourselves when we are in a retreat like this. But when we do that morning sadhana, that is to be treated as karma sannyas sadhana. That is, like, where you're not doing anything else but doing this. It's just that, yes, there are other people around, but it's not just satsang, it is definitely a personal sadhana that we are doing. I'm not sure if I've answered that question.
I think personally I'm not as productive or as good with my karma yoga sadhana than I should, and that is what I have to work on.
I think everybody has to work on that. We all have to work on that. Because it's definitely, you feel more, it's helping me more to be by myself. And there's nobody else to look out for, nobody else there, just me and myself alone. And then when you're not doing anything, but now you're doing something or the other, taking care of the chores, so many different ones, taking care of business, taking care of your job, doing this and that, that is definitely more challenging. And that's where more effort has to go in. And that's everybody. I don't think there's anyone who will say that, no, that's really easy. It is difficult, but it's manageable. And yes, that's where we have to spend more time and more effort, not more time, but more effort in realizing that God and Guru are with me as I'm doing this. And it's a constant reminder, repeated reminder, that I am doing this to serve Him. This is for His service. This is for His pleasure. This is for I want to make Him happy. I want to make Krishna happy. That's why I'm doing this. It's a constant reminder. Then we forget. Then we need to remind ourselves again. And then the more time, the more effort we put into reminding ourselves, the easier it gets, just like with everything else. But I agree, it's more difficult.
Radhe Radhe Didi.
Radhe Radhe.
Didi, my question is, when you do devotion, your heart gets pure. And you will always, it's very hard for telling many times people lie to you. And there are instances that you have to lie as well. But being a devotee, it's very hard sometimes to lie. And I have seen within myself, like, I've seen few folks, I'm just giving example, when the things that are not supposed to be done even in parties or somewhere, right? So you feel very uncomfortable, you start feeling uncomfortable there. And if they know, oh, he's a devotee, then when they will meet you later, they will just make joke out of it, you know. And that's what I have seen with myself. I mean, and that time I feel so bad. So how to handle that situation? Because I know, I mean, they are not wrong because they don't understand, and I'm not wrong because I understand. But it feel socially, it feel in front of your, maybe you have kid, you have wife, and in front of them, if somebody says something like that, how to tackle that? You know, it feels so bad that time. And you have some rapport in front of your family, and in front of them, when people say like that, it feels different.
If the person in front of you is telling lies, you mean, or
No,
just
no.
saying something inappropriate?
Inappropriate, I mean, I think I couldn't explain.
No, I think I just want to make sure that I understand. If they maybe mock you and say that, oh, you're बहुत बड़े भक्त बन गए हो, like that, I would say thank you. Because abhi bhakt to bane nahi hai. I'm not a devotee yet, but you're calling me a devotee. That's a very big honor. Thank you. And move on. I think the solution is not to take it seriously. Not to take it seriously. I remember a little girl telling me, she said, oh, my cousins make fun of me. They call me Mirabai. And I said, what a compliment. You know, or you're a saint, you're this and that, just because she's going to satsang. And I said, don't cry about it, just say, thank you. It's a very big compliment. So if they mock you, just don't take it lightly and just walk away. Because you don't want to get upset, you do not want to get angry. Those are waste of emotions. And this is not needed. Don't give their words so much importance. That's what I would say. Don't react. All the while respecting them, because God is in everyone. And so respect each and every person, but laugh it off or move away from there. Don't take it to heart. Sometimes it's maybe a situation where there's people are talking about inappropriate things, then definitely move away. But again, main thing for aspiring devotees is to have respect towards everyone, for everyone. But at the same time, no, I don't want to spend time because this association is harming me, or it's not pleasant to me, and I make some polite excuse and move on from there, go away from there. But don't take it seriously, because they're not taking it seriously. A lot of people say something just as a joke, so why should we take it so seriously?
Radhe Radhe Ji.
Radhe Radhe.
Shedding tears is utmost important when we do sadhana. And we are told that we should shed tears for God and Guru, of course, for either for longing or like union with Krishna. You know, there are lots of kirtans of Kripalaji Maharaj that tells us, but when I listen to those kirtan, when I sing those kirtan, I try to feel what Sri Kripalaji Maharaj was feeling, and thinking about him will make me cry. So is that, I'm personally not feeling that longing or the reunion with Krishna, because I'm not at that level, but I just think about it, like how much love Sri Maharaji had, that he's crying for this, and that, just thinking about that, just, the tears just rolls down my eyes. So is that okay to do that way?
Absolutely okay, yes. Because whether you shed tears for God or God realized saint, Guru, it's the same benefit. So quite often, personally speaking, if I ever shed tears, it's mostly tears of gratitude to my Guru, to Sri Maharaji, or thinking about something he said, something he did that reminded me of Sri Krishna. It's mostly that. Because there's so many experiences, so much grace, and I think about it, and that makes me cry the most. So it's absolutely fine. The only thing wrong would be for us to cry for the world, and that's not the case at all. So God or Guru, both. And it's easier to cry for the Guru, and so the benefit will be the same.
wanted to ask, how do I increase my patience? Sometimes I feel like I've been on this path and it's been been a bit of a roller coaster ride where I have my highs and lows. You know, my sanskars take over, and then it feels like when's the end point? In the world, you get instantaneous happiness, whereas here I have to work hard and have to close my eyes, meditate. You do get that joy, but you have to work really hard for it. And sometimes it feels like, what's the point? The more I do devotion, the more I learn about my own faults, and it makes me sad that I have so much to work on. And this goal of God realization is impossible, and it's unachievable.
Well, what if you don't keep the goal of God realization and you just say, I just want to better myself? So don't make it so daunting for yourself. God realization, oh, that's too far. But okay, I just want to improve myself. That's more manageable, isn't it? So keep a more manageable aim. It's like at New Year's, a lot of people will be making resolutions. So, and a lot of people make the mistake of making some really difficult resolution. Or something unmanageable. I'm going to lose 100 pounds this year. But rather than, but that person could say, I just want to be healthier. So which is more manageable? Right? So just okay, God realization, Bhagavad Prapti hoti rahegi, baad mein, theek hai. I just want to improve myself. I just want to be a better person. I want to be a better version of myself. So that's more manageable. And in the world, there's instant gratification. So I know these are just semantics, but it's not instant happiness. But right, what I mean, and I'm not going to correct the choice of words because we all say it. But at the same time, we need to understand that that's just little satisfaction, temporary joy and pleasure. It's not going to last. But here, I'm working harder than that I've ever worked in the world. But the happiness I'm going to get, that I'm working towards, is perfect happiness. I'm going to become infinitely happy. My happiness is going to be immeasurable, and it's coming in degrees. And every time I'm doing sadhana and I'm shedding a couple of tears, I'm getting closer to that aim of improving myself. So if you mean, how do I work on my patience in that way, or just patience in general, I'm not patient with people, you don't mean that. You mean impatient with myself, that I'm on this path and I'm not getting anywhere. And actually, if we think about it, we have come a long way. You have come a long way, I've come a long way, everybody who's on the path has come a long way. So, and it comes, I think everyone thinks, I'm not getting anywhere. But if you think about it, you're getting somewhere. You are actually succeeding, if you really think about it. So when that thought comes, I'm not getting anywhere, I don't know, it's just pointless, I think you should write a journal and, just compare yourself to where you were 10 years ago to now, or 5 years ago and now, and make a list of all the benefits you have reaped or how you have changed, because we tend to think, I'm not improving at all. But if you were not improving at all, you would have left this path too. You are getting somewhere, you are reaping the benefits, that's why you're on this path. Because we're not foolish enough to just keep on walking, well, maybe one day. And you're thinking as a child, you're thinking this way, as a young lady, you're thinking this way, then you're middle age, I'm gonna get there one day. Then when you're really old, I'm getting there somewhere. It's not like that. You are getting somewhere right now. You've come a long way. So just have to think about it, write it down. That I think really helps. Oh, okay, yes, I used to be like this, now I'm like this. There's a lot of improvement here.
One more quick question, Devi ji.
Sure.
So at some point this week in one of the lectures, I heard that if we're worrying about something, about something maybe that happened in the past or the future. There's something we're not getting right in the philosophy. So when we put Rup Dhyan into that, and I'll just give kind of a silly example. Let's just say I'm worried that I'm going to miss my flight tomorrow, and I'm just stressing about it, some future event. Although it would be a good thing, right? Because then I would stay here longer.
Yes.
But let's just say I had something important at work that I needed to take care of, and how do we, that thought is in my head, how do I, just trying to give a simple example that can be applied to any worry we have, but how do we kind of make Rup Dhyan work in that situation?
So do the Rup Dhyan that Sri Krishna or your Guru is just looking at you, putting the arm around you and saying, what are you worried about? I got your back. I'm doing everything for you, and whatever happens will be for the best. So that Rup Dhyan will help. Or you can think that you're a child, do this Rup Dhyan. You're a child, I'm a child. And Lord Krishna is my father, Radharani is my mother, and they're holding on to me. This one is Lord Krishna, holding on to my fingers, and this one is Radha, she's holding on, and I'm walking. They're walking with me. They're making me walk. That's a very powerful Rup Dhyan. That what am I worried about? A small child doesn't worry. I'm a small child. I'm a child. Don't think you're an adult and when we start thinking, I'm an adult, I'm a grown-up, I've got so many responsibilities, and then, there's so many, and there's so many loads, I'm just bending down. Just think, I'm a child of God, and why should I worry? Why should I worry about anything? Like a child does not worry. It's up to the parents to worry. And so these Rup Dhyans will help you to not worry. That Lord Krishna is actually saying, don't worry about this. Why are you worried? You're my child. And Radharani is saying, why are you worried? Shri Radhe Hamari Sarkar, Fikir Mohi Kahe Ki, Shri Maharaj Ji says. So do these Rup Dhyans and that will help. Or any similar Rup Dhyan that will, everybody is so different, different Rup Dhyans work. But I'm just giving you a couple of suggestions.
Thank you.
You're welcome. We have 6 minutes left if you have any question. Now 5 minutes left, yes.
Radhe Radhe.
Radhe Radhe.
So I'm wondering if you can maybe speak to a little bit about the various steps and some advice you'd have to maybe people early on the path or young adults.
Mm-hmm.
And also touching on that part of at the time when you're dying to think of God. So as people are progressing in these steps, sometimes, as mentioned, it's a roller coaster. Maybe you're at step 1 and then you've gone to 2, now you're back at 1, 2. So if you have any examples or anything you can share on that.
Well, when you're doing devotion, the steps are only, first you're in sadhana bhakti, you're trying to get your mind involved with God, any which way. Then you get to bhav bhakti stage, that's a very advanced stage. And that's when you think you attain God realization, but you haven't. And then there's the surrendering fully, you have the prema bhakti or siddha bhakti stage. So you cannot really go, you go from the first to the second to the third, but yes, you can come down. At Bhav Bhakti stage, you can come down, because if you commit a very grave spiritual offense, like having doubts about God, having doubts about Guru, true saint, you can come down, crashing down to Sadhana Bhakti stage again. But so you said that any hints as to how to progress on this? Right. So care has to be taken, precautions have to be taken First of all, rules have to be followed. Rules are very important, and rules must be followed. So the rules that, and very simple rules, so rules that make sense, the rules that your guru gives you, that a saint gives you, that these are the rules. Do sadhana every day. So very simple, path of devotion is extremely simple. Sri Maharaji has made it extremely, extremely simple. He has shown how simple it is. The rules are very simple. Do devotion to God every day, which makes sense because we've got world on our mind. We need to get God on our mind. So we do sadhana, but we're doing sadhana. Karma sannyas sadhana, leave everything and just do sadhana. And karma yoga sadhana, do your chores, go about your business as usual, whether it's studying or teaching or running a business or working on your job, and keep him in your mind. And don't keep too many worldly, don't have a very busy social calendar. Be involved with sadhana, satsang and seva. Keep on serving God and Guru. Food-wise, you should eat food that helps you in your devotion, that doesn't harm you devotionally, simple food, sattvic food. And keep the company of those who will inspire you on the path. Very, very logical rules. And so if we are following the rules, then we are going to be fine. We are going to keep on going to the next step. And look out for your own faults, recognize your own faults, don't look at the faults of others. Keep on trying to improve yourself, and don't listen to your mind. It will fool you again and again. Listen to what God is telling you to do through your Guru. Go ahead and listen, obey, be a good servant, be obedient. And in one's youth, as a young person, the attractions of the world are so many. So there needs to be a greater care taken, especially for the youth. For everyone, really, we need to take great care in staying away from the poisons of the world, sattvic, rajas, tamas, poisons of the world. But it becomes very simple if we just follow the rules and be very diligent about doing devotion. And if we are taking the precautions. Okay, I've done sadhana. Now what am I going to do throughout the day? So we should not be thinking that, okay, I've done my sadhana, I've done my devotions for 1 hour, and now I'm going to be as worldly as I possibly can be. Now I'm going to gossip, I'm going to get involved fully in the world, I'm going to be doing this and this and this, so that will defeat the purpose. And so it's just a matter of taking precautions and following the rules of devotional practice. And then you said something about the end.
Like, and please, if I'm wrong, correct me, but it's stated like to your last thought in life is God. So maybe people, and my understanding is that everybody surrenders at their own time and place, right? So so if you were so worldly 1 month before your time of death, but you're still thinking at that moment.
At the last moment?
Yes.
Impossible.
Okay.
Not going to be possible. All your life, if someone is thinking about the world and, my beta, my beti, my grandson, my granddaughter, my wealth, my business, and all of a sudden, at the end, he's not going to think about God. It doesn't happen. So we have to work towards that in our final moments, that we can, towards the end of life, I should say, because final moments we can't think of anyone, because we will faint, we will lose consciousness, and then death will come. But in the end of life, it's said that whatever you are thinking of, that's where you'll go next time. So what happens is that in your next life, you will get the results of what you thought about in your final moments. And then the other sanskars will kick in, that you did devotion too, so that will also come in. But first, that will come, whatever you thought about in the last moments, not the last moment, but towards the end of your life, that will show up in the beginning of your next life. And then the other things other fruits of other actions will show up after that. Okay. So it's time now to end this question and answer session until next Sunday. As you know, from Monday to Saturday, there's lecture, and then on Sundays, there is Q&A session. Boliye Vrindavan Bihari Lal ki Jai. Srimad Sadguru Sarkar ki Jai. As we do every day, we have